Hello friends, and welcome to a extra special video recording Psychic Insight 2023 prediction video. Oh my gosh, that's like a mouthful. A couple of weeks ago I posted on all my social media channels asking for a little bit of input, a little bit of guidance as to what you want to know about for 2023. What are the big concerns? What are the big worries? What are the big things that are plaguing your mind in concern, in fear, in all of those things as we move into 2023. And I captured and wrote down all of the questions that were given to me, and there were some really interesting ones. I've decided to start off focusing on economy. So obviously, being South African, South Africa is the biggest and it has the highest priority, but I am also going to look at a global, worldwide kind of situation as well. So in this particular video, I'm taking the questions that have been given to me by many of you. Some of them are similar, but there are very slight differences in every single one of the questions. So I had the thought to sort of, bring it all together and just have one question kind of thing. But I thought, no, that's not going to work, because I am not very au fait and very clever when it comes to politics and when it comes to economy and things like that. It's not my forte. It's not my area of expertise. And so if I did it with just one question, I feel like I'm going to be quite narrow-minded. So even though there are similarities in the questions, I have taken out 6 questions. I've just had to read there on my list. I've taken out 6 questions. Like I said, there are some overlaps, and you might actually look at it and think it's all the same question, and that's okay. But I'm going to answer the 6 questions individually as separate readings, as separate energies, because then we look at sort of the overall picture and we start seeing the truth. So it's like asking the same question in 6 different ways and seeing if the answers correlate and match up. Because if they do, then it's definitely a sign from a higher being, a higher power, as to what the answer actually is. So I will put the questions on screen. I will display the questions as I'm working through them, so they will be on camera for you to see. I have taken out 4 different decks to work with for this particular video. The first deck I'm going to work with is really my all-time go-to, if I can call it, tarot deck. It is the CS Tarot. So the CS Tarot is just a standard, typical Rider-Waite-Smith tarot that has been recolored and just relined, and it is just beautiful, done by a local South African. I adore him. I think Conrad is just an amazing human being. But besides for that, I truly love this deck. I love the size of the deck. I love the cardstock. I love the coloration. I love absolutely everything about this deck. So, and every time I need to do, I'm going to call it a serious reading, this is my go-to. This is my one that talks to me, okay? So I've chosen the CS Tarot. I have got another tarot deck here as well. So this is the Dream Keepers Tarot. So it is, like I say, it's a little bit strange. It's a little bit unusual in its artwork. It is incredibly deep in its imagery and the way that it portrays and brings the messages across. So again, this is not the kind of deck that I would use if I'm looking for a light-hearted, casual, motivational kind of reading. If I want to get to truth, if I want to sort of really and truly understand what's lying beneath the surface, then this is the deck that I'm going to go to. So I've got Dream Keepers Tarot and I have got the CS Tarot. All right, I have those 2. Then I have chosen, I've been using this deck quite a lot lately, the Divine Energy Oracle. Now, what I love about this particular deck, and I'll show you a couple of the cards, it is a big deck, but the cards literally just have a couple of words, it doesn't have a lot of fancy. The imagery is repeated quite a lot because it's not about the images, it's not about the pictures, it's about the text. So for that reason, I am loving this deck at the moment and using it, because sometimes it hits the nail on the head and gets us to whatever it is we need. And then the other deck that I'm using, and if you know me, if you know anything about me and my readings, you know that I adore this deck. This is my ultimate oracle deck. It is one that I have been using for absolutely years, and this is the oh my gosh, the Sacred Destiny Oracle. I'm not even holding it straight so that you can see. I love the simplicity of this deck. The artwork is beautiful, and then it literally has a single keyword, and that's what I love, because an oracle deck that has too much information on the card, it restricts the intuition, it restricts the thinking. So Sacred Destiny, it speaks to my soul, and I just get so much intuitive hits off that deck. So I haven't got a structure for this particular video. I don't have a set questions. I do have the set questions given to me by you guys, which I'm just going to go through and answer. But how I answer, I'm going to allow myself to be drawn to any of the 4 decks. I will have timestamps below at least I think I'll have timestamps below to help you navigate through. And as I say, there is a lot of overlap in the questions, but I think that's going to be a good thing, so that if you watch them, you will sort of pick up the similarities and the little nuances between all the readings, which together will hopefully give you an overall picture in answer to the question around the economy of South Africa and of the global world in 2023. So friends, I hope you're going to enjoy this. I have a few more lined up that will be coming out soon, but I thought this was where most of the questions came in. This is where the big focus was, so that's why I thought I would tackle this one first. And remember, if you enjoy the video, all you need to do is to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification so that you get notified every time I release a video. So friends, I'm going to switch the camera around so that you can see the cards, and let's get started. Right, so we're going to start off with the CS Tarot, because as I said, this is just my sort of my go-to, and I'll probably use the other tarot deck if I need additional clarification or understanding or anything. So giving the CS Tarot a shuffle, and I have got our first question lined up and ready, but let's just set the intention and let's just get the tarot primed and prepped and ready for what we are going to do. All right, so here is our first question. So the first question we have is, will 2023 be the onset of better things to come for us and the rest of the world? And this comes from Patricia. So Patricia, thank you very much for your question. And I think this is such a beautiful question to start off with, because you are focusing on the positive, you are focusing on wanting to just confirmation and clarity that everything is going to be better, and not only for us here in South Africa, but for the rest of the world as well. So 2023, will it be the onset? And again, I love that word onset, because if we say, will it be great, will it be fine, will it be better, we're sort of putting a full stop at the end of that sentence. We're finalizing it, saying 2023 must be the best. But the onset of better means that we understand that there is work in progress, that we understand that there is, that there is always going to be room for improvement, and there's always going to be room for betterment. So will 2023 be the onset of better things to come for us and the rest of the world? Let's see. Right, I'm happy with that shuffle, cutting the deck over there. Let's have a look. So answer number 1, card number 1 that we have, I love that. Absolutely love that. We've got the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Wands is the card of victory and success, but it's the card of returning after an event. So the person on the horse has been off to battle, has been off to do something, okay, and is now returning after that event. So it's the comeback, okay. I love that. Isn't that just amazing? And we have the Chariot, so we still got this movement, we still got this progress. And I'm going to take one more. Oh, look at that, the Wheel of Fortune. All right, so for Patricia and for all of us, will 2023 be the onset of better things to come for us and the rest of the world? The 6 of Wands is definitely saying yes. The 6 of Wands is confirming that this is the beginning of, but we need to acknowledge how much we've been through. We need to acknowledge how difficult it was, how hard it was, but we also need to give ourselves, every single one of us, we need to give ourselves a pat on the back for what we have been through, what we have accomplished, and what we have succeeded in achieving. The Chariot is the card that says to you, you're not done yet. And that's exactly how I interpreted the question, okay? The Chariot is the card that's saying that we're not done yet. The Chariot is a reminder that there is still progress, there is still ahead, there is still a journey ahead. We're not done, but the Chariot is saying, again, acknowledge how far you've come, acknowledge how much you've achieved and accomplished, and recognize that there is still an open road ahead of you. Your final destination is not in sight yet. The Wheel of Fortune is also known as the Karma card, and the Wheel of Fortune here is sort of saying to all of us, we need to recognize and understand that the universe has got this, okay? As much as we're angry, and as much as we're frustrated, and as much as we're trying to control, and as much as we're trying to be be the leader in our lives and in our situation. You know, we are pawns to the universe, and the universe is the one that's making the decisions, deciding on what we need, when we need it, and how we need it. The Wheel of Fortune is also telling you that everything's going to work out exactly as it needs to. So there is a bigger plan, okay? And we don't necessarily have the insight, we don't necessarily have the understanding of what that bigger plan is and what our role is in that, but we have to know that there is, and we have to trust, and we have to allow. So simple answer to the question, will 2023 be the onset of better things to come? Yes, it absolutely will be. And again, the key phrases here are onset. Onset is the key word, and that's what we get with these two. It's the onset, it is the beginning of, but we also have to understand that this is necessary for the whole, for us in South Africa and for the rest of the world. This is a necessary experience. What we've been through, it has been necessary to shift the dynamic, to shift the understanding, to shift everything. So Patricia, thank you for your question. I love what we've got over here. I am going to stick these back into the deck in random places because that's the way that I do it, in preparation for our next question. Okay, so the 3 cards are back in. Let's give the deck just a reset shuffle. Okay, slight adjustment to the layout on screen to make space for the next question. And yeah, the next question I also think is going to be quite an interesting one. So I have my CS Tarot ready, and let's have a look and see what our question is. Let me put it on. So the question is, will the world ever get back to pre-COVID in terms of career, money, health, religion, or spirituality? So I guess what I'm asking is, will life as we knew it before COVID ever be the same? And this question comes from Paula de Silva. So Paula, thank you, my darling. Thank you for your question. I have my own opinions on this question because, and I'm gonna speak openly while I'm shuffling the cards. So my opinion is we don't want to go back to the way things were before COVID, because COVID happened for a reason. COVID, we needed it on a global level to shift the focus. I mean, it is obviously tragic, the people that have lost their lives, the people that have, you know, passed away through it, the people who've lost their jobs, who've lost their homes, who've lost their families. The loss has been absolutely tragic. I get that. But I also think the experience behind COVID has been necessary on a global level. So and this is just my personal opinion, okay? So my personal opinion is that we don't want to go back to the way things were, because the way things were was very old-fashioned. It was very, like, I speak specifically here in South Africa. So in South Africa, everybody, those that were working, would wake up in the morning, get dressed, go to work to be there for starting time 8 a.m, sit at your desk, work hard, do your thing until knock-off time, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, go home, rush to take care of families, blah, blah, blah. Now, with COVID, we had to learn how to work from home. We had to learn how, our companies had to learn how to trust us, because we were very much in the corporate world, very much you know, don't have an opinion, do what you're told, don't color outside the lines. Don't try doing anything differently. Don't try and change anything. Stick with the familiar. Stick with what we know. And COVID has taught us that actually, you know what, we can do things differently. We can color outside the lines, and it's fine. Actually, it's better. You know, companies are saving money. Companies are saving infrastructure. So therefore, the pressure that we're putting onto the global, onto the ecosystem of the world is less, because people are staying at home. There's less driving, there's less traveling. And I know now we've got some companies that are sort of forcing their staff back into the office. And there are those companies that have actually sold their buildings and said, no, actually, we don't need that corporate space. Everybody is actually working harder from home than they did before. Schools have had to change the way that they operate. You know, their system has also had to adjust. The way we trade money has had to adjust. Everything has had to adjust. Even the way our medical practitioners offer their services has adjusted. So, my opinion is that we don't want to go back to the way it was. I understand that what you're probably referring to here is a normal life of happiness, of bliss, of familiar, of comfortable. Maybe that's what you're asking. But Paula, I'm going to leave your question as it is. I've given my opinion, but let's have a look. Will the world ever get back to pre-COVID? Now, what I'm going to do here, because you've specifically specified careers, money, health, religion, and or spirituality, I'm going to draw a card for each one of those, okay? And actually, sorry, I'm going to stop that for a second. Let's get a straightforward answer from this deck, all right? So let's just push them out of the way a bit. A straightforward answer from this deck in answer to all the questions, all right, into all the context. So this is the straightforward blunt. It's just got words on it. It doesn't have a lot of, the image is not important on this particular deck. So this is a straightforward answer to the question. As you say, so what I'm asking is, what you're asking is, will life as we know it before COVID ever be the same? So that is the answer I'm going to go for first, and then I will draw a tarot card for each of the different areas. So the question we're asking here is, so what I'm asking is will life as we knew it before COVID ever be the same? All right, I'm happy with that shuffle, and there's our card. Do all things in moderation, you know, and I think that's actually quite relevant, because I think what this card is saying, and I'm going to stick it over there because then it's nice and clear. I think what that card is saying is we're all trying desperately, now that things are sort of almost settling again, we're all trying to go back to the way it was. We're trying to reverse engineer everything and go back to the way things used to be. And I think this card as an overall answer is saying we need to do things in moderation. We need to not be so fixated on going back, and we need to understand that let's make the changes, slow changes that we need to, until we are comfortable and familiar with everything. So let's look specifically careers, okay? So will the world ever get back to pre-COVID in terms of career? And here we have the world, you know, and I think this is saying no, because the world card is talking about completion, talks about attainment, you know, finishing a cycle, finishing an experience, finishing an adventure. So that is telling you that no, the way that we used to operate, the way that we used to work is done. It is time to do things a bit differently, to prepare for the next adventure differently, in a different way. Let's have a look. Will the world ever get back to pre-COVID in terms of money? Nope. You know, the death is the card of change. It's the card of transformation. It's the card of evolution. So money is different. You know, I look at my own life on a personal level, and I never have actual tangible cash. I don't. You know, I never have a need to, because everything I do is electronic and digital. And we are absolutely moving into, or are in already, an electronic digital age. So as far as money, will we ever go back? Because pre-COVID, it was all about cash. Cash was king, you know, and you heard people saying that all the time. Cash is king. These days, cash is dangerous. If you carry cash, especially here in South Africa, if you carry cash on you, it is frightening. It is the things that could happen. So I think, will the world ever get back to pre-COVID in terms of money? No, we are operating and trading money differently. The things that we measured before, they're no longer relevant. Look at how many companies that are on the stock exchange have either grown or reduced their value because of the way that they're operating since COVID. So I do think, and the death card to me is always a very positive card, because it wants us to embrace the change. It wants us to be excited about the change. It wants us to understand that the change is beneficial as long as we do things in moderation. Let's look at health. So will the world ever get back to pre-COVID in terms of health? We have the Tower card. This is so fascinating. So the Tower card is about everything crumbling down and needing to rebuild, okay? So it is about the destruction and the devastation, which we've obviously experienced. But the Tower card, if we continue the conversation, if we continue the sentence, the Tower card says, once the destruction has happened, once the collapse has happened, we don't sit and feel sorry for ourselves and boo-hoo-hoo, cry over the destruction. We immediately go into repair mode and we say, right, let's rebuild. But moderation, first of all, but secondly, the Tower card is saying that when you rebuild, take a good, hard, honest look at how things were in the past and ask yourself, was it good enough? Were we happy? Were we satisfied? Or were we just in a level of acceptance? And I feel like that's where we were. With regards to our health, because that's what this card is asking, we were in a level of acceptance with what was considered sufficient help, sufficient healthcare. So now we have to rebuild our entire system, and we're going to rebuild it better than it used to be. So I think, again, incredibly positive message for this particular question. So as far as health, if we look at individuals, because maybe, Paula, that was what you were asking, not a global system, but individually, health-wise for each one of us. And I know that there are so many thoughts around vaccinations and so forth. So we're not going to open that conversation today. But I think the Tower card is also saying to us that yes, maybe we needed to break things down. Maybe we needed to have all these tough conversations. But on a personal level, we're all now suddenly more aware of our fellow human. And when we're walking in the shops, we're more conscious of energy exchange, like actual energy exchange and, that type of thing. So everybody's become cleaner, more consistently aware of spreading germs. Therefore, but we had to have this awful experience. We all had to mask up. We had to do all of those things in order to change the dynamic. And now that the dynamic has changed, even now, like here in South Africa, we do not need to be wearing masks anymore. But I notice in the shops, I notice in the social environments that there is this kind of, I'm going to use the term respect for each other, for each other's personal space, for each other's personal beings, and almost not make. So if somebody is unwell, we tend to stay away from the shops. We tend to be more considerate. And that is what the Tower is saying. So we needed, again, to have the harsh experiences in order to learn how to build it up. And we're going to take one more, and I'm going to move these off camera because I need space. And this is to answer the question, will the world ever get back to pre-COVID in terms of our religion and or spirituality? And we have the Knight of Wands. First of all, the first thing we notice on this particular card is how the horse is raring to go, okay? It's like it's pulling back and it's ready to charge. Our knight is dressed in his absolute finest. He is ready. He is armored up. He has got all his bits of fire, that in his helmet over there, and here on his sleeves, it shows the fire, it shows the flames, the passion, the enthusiasm. And again, I think what's happened, this COVID, pre-COVID, in the past, everybody sort of kept to their own, and each religion thought that they were better than anybody else. Everybody was sort of like in their own little camps, and everybody kept to themselves. Now, it's almost as if the experience that the world has gone through has lowered the barriers around each of the religions, and now we're intermingling. I definitely see that. I see people, clients that I consult with who used to be one religion and are now sort of saying, yes, that is still my base religion. And I know that's a really strange term. That is my base religion, but I'm now more open to learning and understanding about other people's religions and belief systems and so on. So, the Knight of Wands is absolutely saying to us that things are shifting, yes. People are questioning more, people are asking relevant questions, but people are more open to other ways of thinking, other rationale, other identities, and so forth. And the Knight of Wands is telling us that the things are shifting and moving quite quickly. There is a lot of growth. There is a lot of potential. So from a religion/spiritual point of view, things are shifting in a positive way. Things are moving in a better direction, and we have a lot more to look forward to because we're more open. We're discussing things. We're explaining things. We're just more tolerant of each other. I think that is such a beautiful word. We are more tolerant of each other. We're more understanding of each other, but we're also more working as a team, working in synergy, regardless of what people's faith is. So the faith will always be there. We'll all have our belief systems, but this is more about coming together regardless. And that's what we've had. That's what this last couple of months, couple of years has taught us. So Paula, I hope I've answered your questions. I love this moderation though, because if we try and force everything to shift to pre-COVID terms right now, it'll all be too much and everything will come crumbling and crashing down. So let's rather take it day by day, and let's remember and let's understand that there is still progress. There is still work to do. But as long as we take it in moderation, one thing at a time, and that's exactly how I did it, one thing at a time. If we do it one thing at a time, and if we are mindful of ourselves and everybody else in moderation, we're going to be absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Sending you much love, my darling. Thank you for your question. Let me readjust the screen for the next question. Right, let's put the cards back in the deck. And again, random places. Give the cards just a little shuffle to reset the energy. This next question is going to be a good one. Whoops, look at me go. Look at me go. Yeah, you see which card fell out there? Temperance. Temperance is the card of saying slow and steady. Balance. Make sure that you understand all the energy that you're putting into it and the outcomes that you are expecting. So I think we'll take that. And then goes the moon card. The moon card is saying to face our fears, to be aware of what lies in the dark, to be aware of all the hidden dangers and opportunities. All right. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to put those away. Let's put all things in moderation away as well. And I'm just going to stick it into the deck randomly. And let's just give the deck a little shuffle just to reset the energy. And then we will get on to a question from John. Right, so John's question. So John says, I was thinking about humanity stuck in a constant revolution instead of evolution. Love those words. Love, love, love. So he says evolution versus revolution, okay, on so many global levels and obviously in South Africa with regards to political and economical. John says, you know me. He is from the school of theological, philosophical, psycho-spiritual craziness. Love it. Absolutely love it. John is definitely somebody who thinks outside of the box. He is definitely somebody who takes everything very seriously, and he ponders and he thinks lots. Okay, so this is definitely an interesting one indeed. So John, thank you very much for the question. So we're really looking at the difference between evolution versus revolution. So just my understanding, evolution is progress. Evolution is how we adapt to circumstances, whether it's better or not is, you know, really know in hindsight. In 300 years' time, when the next human beings look back at this time, they will understand the evolution that has taken place and whether it's a good thing or not. Revolution is when we just continue going around and around and around and around and around and around and around without doing anything differently. So revolution is what mice do on a mouse wheel. You know, they just keep going around and around and around and around, not expecting anything different, not hoping for anything different. So is this what we're doing as human beings? Are we just going day by day, not getting anywhere, not progressing, not improving or not changing our circumstances? Or is this massive evolution? Okay, so cards are shuffled. I am again going to take from this deck because I just think it's amazing and I can't wait to see. So let's get the short answer first. Let's get the short answer first. Are we evolutioning or are we revolving? Evolutioning or revolving? Let's have a look. Just give the cards a shuffle. Right, let's grab one. Are we evolving or are we revolving? You know, I love this. I love this because what it's doing is it's taking us out of that immediate judgment, out of that immediate kind of boxing ourselves in. And love yourself is saying, hold a second, does it matter? I love how spirit works. Does it matter? You know, yes, we want to know the answer and we will get the answer, but actually does it matter? Because whether we are doing evolution or whether we are doing revolutions, ultimately, this is our reality. This is our only reality that you and I have. This is the only thing that we have to work with. And the most important thing, forgetting about everything else, the most important thing is that we love ourselves. You know, and I do think the spiritual awakening, the spiritual, I'm going to call it evolution / whatever that's going on at the moment, is we are changing our focus from being more focused on, we used to be more focused on status, money, power, job titles, size of your home, the car that you drive, the money in your bank account. You know, that was how we measured our success in life. Our success in life has always been measured based on material possessions, okay? And that is definitely shifting. Now we're starting to focus more on the things that truly matter. And love does matter. Love is what actually makes this world go around. And if we don't like ourselves, if we don't love ourselves, and if we don't love our neighbors, what is the point to existence? So evolution versus a revolution. Spirit is saying none of that matters. What matters is that we love ourselves. And not about loving other people. It's about loving yourself. Because again, our focus has always been on others. our focus has always been on what are they doing and why are they doing that, and what do people think of me. We always think the worst. We always think we need to protect ourselves from people's judgments. But if you love yourself, if you truly are happy with who you are, however you are, does anybody else's opinion actually matter? So, and I know, John, I could just see where you're going with all of this in your mind. But let's have a look. What I'm going to do, okay, so we're looking at evolution versus a revolution. I am going to start, obviously, with the evolution side, all right? So the question is, are we stuck in constant revolution versus evolution? So that's the first question. Are we stuck in a constant revolution? We have the moon card. It jumped out just now. I do think, and I think this is actually quite interesting. I'm going to grab more from there now, but I just want to make some space. The moon card is the card of facing your fears. It is the card of trusting your intuition as well. But it's also the card that says that you don't necessarily have all the information. You don't necessarily know what's out there. And you have to be cautious. You have to be mindful. You have to be aware. So I think the moon card here is basically telling us about hidden secrets. So are we in a constant state of revolution? We are. And we're afraid to step out of that. Now, I want to show you on the moon card. Can we see here we have this lobster that is coming out of the water, and it's going to start walking this path. And this path is going to take it all the way into the yonder, okay? And in the yonder, we have the moon in all its phases. We've got from full moon to half moon to quarter moon to no moon. We've got all of them depicted over there. We have got the two pillars of strength, of polarity, of yin and yang, of right and wrong, of left and right, of up and down. We've got those. We've also got a domestic versus a wild animal depicted here. And isn't that who we are? We're sort of struggling between this, should I be domestic or should I be wild? Should I be natural? What should I be? Who should I be? And then you've got this really strange, and the only reason why I'm calling this little character strange is because it doesn't fit into the everything else that's going here. We've got the two dogs, we've got the two pillars, we've got the moon. And then you've got this crustacean going, you know what, guys, you can focus on the other stuff. I'm just going to go on my journey. And I'm going to walk straight here between you, and you won't even see me. You will be none the wiser. And I think this is exactly the question here. So, I think what Spirit is saying is there are those that are going to be so fixated on making sure that they grow, that they progress, and they will be those that are stuck in the revolution because they're going to be chasing the money, the power, the status, the house, all of those kind of things. And then there are going to be those who recognize what truly matters, who recognizes their own solitary journeys, and they do everything from a place of love, compassion, and understanding. And they're just going to evolve. So I think the simple answer here, and I think it's an interesting one, I think the simple answer here is some of us are stuck in revolution. Some of us are moving forward with evolution. And that is regardless of your actual location on this planet, whether you are here in South Africa or in any other place around the world. Every single one of us will fit into one of these two categories. And sometimes we're going to shift between. Like sometimes you may find yourself being more evolution based and, improving yourself and improving your outlook and improving your mindset and improving your well-being, etc. And then you're going to have those moments where you suddenly go, no, hold a second, but let me go back to my corporate and let me go back to, my status and my money and my power and my blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to go, no, but hold a second, that doesn't make me happy. Let me go back to my mindfulness and my meditation and my love. And, so you may find that you're flittering between the two. But I definitely get that there is this division. So I drew that card to answer the question of, is humanity stuck in constant revolution instead of evolution? I want to draw a card on evolution now, because that was on the revolution. Let's see on evolution. So we have the beautiful Seven of Pentacles. So look at him, okay? So the story of the Seven of Pentacles, first of all, he has a money bush. I need money bush in my life. That is my revolution, okay? I need money bush in my life. Because if I had money bush, I could focus more on the evolution. All right, back on track. Seven of Pentacles, he planted a seed and he has nurtured, he has taken care of, he has watered it, he has nurtured it, he has removed the weeds, he's taken care of it for a very, very long time. He has arrived every single day, and every single day he has taken care and nurtured that plant until it is now at a point where it is yielding fruit. But it has taken a very, very long time. He is looking at it and, you know, he's thinking, gosh, is this all I get? Is it worth it? You know, so he's at that point now where he can start yielding a return on his investment. Okay, he is at that point of yielding a return of his investment, but he's also feeling a little bit despondent. He's feeling a little bit disappointed. He's feeling a little bit like, is this all there is? So we have to be careful, because this is us jumping between that world or that world, a revolution, evolution, revolution, evolution, because we have this glorified image in our minds of what perfect world looks like, what it means to be an evolved human being. We've got this I'm going to call it animated, glorified image in our minds. And when we think we've got there, we're like, oh, is this all there is? No, because we're so used to chasing goals and dreams and, you know, big things that, sorry, I'm getting so enthusiastic. I'm bumping the camera here with my feet and my table and everything. So we're so used to having a measurable goal that we set these high standards. And then when we arrive there, we think, oh, is this all there is? But if we come back to what truly matters, if we come back to love, I think if we come back to love, if we come back to loving ourselves and forgetting about measurements, forgetting about comparisons, forgetting about judgment, I think we won't be as disappointed, and actually we would start bringing balance. Remember the temperance card that jumped out earlier on? Temperance card is all about balance, and that's exactly what we've got here. This is need, power, drive, ambition, need to achieve, need to accomplish, need to own, need to have, need. And this is about patience and trust and allowing evolution to happen in evolution's time, and realizing that you can add as much fertilizer as you want. You're not going to speed up the growing process. Okay, so yeah, you can add as much fertilizer as you want. It's not going to hurry it up. But as long as we bring ourselves back to loving ourselves, then actually everything's going to be okay. I love that. I love that. So John, thank you so much for your question. I know I've given you quite a bit of food for thought, and I know it's a lot to take in. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. But I think the big question here is to ask yourself, are you in the revolution mode or are you in the evolution mode? And where do you actually want to be? I think that's the next big question as well, is where do you want to be? What is actually important to you? And I'm going to say, from my point of view and from Spirit's point of view, this is what matters the most, is that you learn to love yourself, that you learn to accept yourself. Accept your situation, your circumstances. Be okay with your situation and your circumstance. And just love yourself unconditionally. Right, let's put love yourself back and see if I have another question. Let's just give it a reset shuffle, because I like to do that. You can fast forward through this part if you want to. Right, so our next question that we have is also a very, very interesting question. Let me actually put it on screen so that you can see it. Right, so this question comes from Heidie. Heidie says, will there be greater political stability, especially economically, next year? How will South Africa cope with the higher goods, fuel and living costs? And will there be another looting? All right. So it's some very, very interesting questions here indeed, and yeah, ones that we're all thinking about. So let's have a look. Now I'm gonna break your question up into a couple of bite-sized pieces, and we'll draw cards on each just to see what comes through. If Rene can actually learn to pick up some cards. Right. Let's do a shuffle. Right, so will there be greater political stability, especially around economy, next year? And how will South Africa cope with higher goods, fuel and living costs? And will there be another looting? So thanks, Heidie. So what I'm going to do, pick up the cards. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the first question. Will there be a greater political stability, especially around economy the economic sections next year? Let's have a look. Right. So I'm happy with the shuffle. Cut the deck over there. I'm going to leave the deck on the side and just draw off the top as we need. So will there be Okay, so will there be greater political stability next year, especially around the economics of the country? So here we have the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is the card of walking away. So I do think we have to, and I know this is going to be so touchy, and I know this is going to be quite a difficult thing, but we have to walk away from the past. We have to leave the past in the past. Things happened, yes. Was it fun? No. Was it positive? No. But what's happened has happened. We cannot undo the past. The Eight of Cups with regards to will there be greater political stability? We have to walk away from what we believe is political stability, okay? We have to walk away from political stability, what we understand as being political stability, because it's clearly not working. So we have to walk away from our familiar. We have to walk away from our comfort zones. We have to start exploring alternate needs, alternate options, alternate solutions, okay? If we, again, try and hold on to the way it was last year, the year before, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 100 years ago, if we try and hold on to the past, how are we're then doing, as John said asked in the previous question, we are then just doing this revolution of going around and round and round. In order for us to move forward, in order for us to progress, we have to leave the past behind. So, simple answer to the question, will there be greater political stability next year? Only if we walk away from the past, only if we let go of the past. Now, I am not a political person. I am not an economist. I don't understand all of those things, and I choose not to. But what comes through to me so clearly here is that we need to, on a political level, we need to almost like flatten everything, reestablish, reset up, reformulate, and then make new decisions. Because I think most of South Africa are making decisions based on 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, which is no longer relevant. It's no longer appropriate. But I also think our political parties need a little bit of a shake-up, because our political parties are also stuck in the past. We need to move forward. And this card is saying to you that there will only be greater political stability if we walk away from current situations and re-establish foundations. Okay. How will South Africa cope with the higher pricing of goods, fuel, and living cost? So Heidie, we have got the Knight of Swords. I love that. What I love about the Knight of Swords is he's not here. He's not in his head, okay? He is action. He is moving. He is moving and shaking. He is getting things done. He is moving at one heck of a speed, okay? You can see how the horse is galloping and how he's like, charge! So how will South Africa cope with the costs of higher fuel and goods and living costs? You know what? South Africa will cope, because South Africa always copes. We are such amazing human beings. We are so strong. We are so resilient. We are so capable of doing whatever needs doing, but we generally tend to leave everything to the 9th hour. Okay, South Africa is not really good with long-term plans. I've got a loose eyelash in my eye, excuse me. South Africa is not really good with long-term plans. We're not really good with strategy. We're not really good with, all of those kind of things. South Africa is like, when there's chaos, we perform miracles. We tend to be lastminute.com kind of mindset kind of people. But when things really get bad, we find ways of pulling rabbits out of the hat. We find ways of just changing things for the better. So how will South Africa cope? I don't know, but I know it will. Okay, I know it will. It's actually, I'm going to draw a second card on the same question. Okay, because this is telling us the kind of people we are. But let's see, how will we cope? When I started off these questions, I sort of said that I was going to do each of the questions individually, but there would be such an overlap, and I'm certainly seeing that. In the previous question I did, the card that I had placed over here was about loving yourself, and it was Spirit sort of saying, the thing that matters most is love. The thing that matters most is focusing on positivity, focusing on love, focusing on the things that matter, as opposed to driving status, power, and money, and etc. The Sun card coming through here right now, the Sun card is about happiness, joy, success, abundance, positivity, upliftment. The Sun is the center of our universe, and without the Sun, we would cease to exist. The Sun brings us energy, force, power, Everything that we need as human beings in order to survive is the sun. The sun gives us that. So again, we need to start trusting in the universe. We need to start trusting in our abilities to come back, our abilities to correct, to repair, to pick ourselves up again. But we have to leave the past behind us. It is the only way that South Africa is going to get better. Otherwise, we're going to be, again, like the previous question, in the cycle of revolution and not evolution. So, Heidi, your last question you asked, and I'm going to move these out the way once I've taken a card, just to make some space. Your next question that you asked was, will there be another looting? Now, again, you know, just the thoughts of it is just heart-wrenchingly devastating. Just the thought of what happened and what we went through, and the stories behind it, and etc., etc. Let's leave the past behind us, okay? Let's leave the past behind us. So simple answer, will there be another looting? No. I do think Page of Wands is saying that it's early days, okay? I do think the Page of Wands is telling us that it is still early days. The Page of Wands is saying that, you know what, can we ever know for sure, all right? Because political situations are quite tricky. They are quite difficult, they are quite precarious, and things can change, things are volatile. And if you look, there's the sandstorm. Can you see the sandstorm behind him? He's standing very proudly and very comfortably, very confidently. He's not worried and concerned about anything. He's sort of got his stuff together, but he understands that he doesn't necessarily have all the information. He doesn't necessarily have everything, but he is still standing confident. He can see that there is a bit of a storm brewing, a bit of a sandstorm brewing, but he's not allowing himself to get into panic. And I think this is the message for us, Heidi, is that we mustn't panic. Will there be another looting? No, but we must not drop our guard. We must not be like so super casual and think, all right, that's it, the trouble is behind us and we're all good to go. We all need to be conscious. We all need to be aware, but we need to understand that when we need to, when the time comes, when it matters most, we tend to come together, we tend to rally together, and we tend to do very, very well. Our Eight of Cups here is telling us, though, that we have to walk away from whatever happened in the past, be it the looting, be it the COVID, be it the political, be it the whatever all, okay? We need to walk away from the past. We need to reestablish a new today, a new basis, a new foundation of what life is all about. And if we focus on that and we leave the past behind us, that sandstorm will never reach us again. So I hope I have answered your question, Heidi. I hope I have given you and everybody a little bit of insight. And I'm loving how these readings are all correlating and coming into play with each other. Right, let's get ready for the next one. Right, let's put these cards back. Again, in random places. And I am, for the next question, going to change tarot decks. Just because I think I've said I was going to use the other one and I might as well use it. But also I think this next question is one that is going to speak some hard truths. So let's switch over to the Dream Keeper's Tarot. Dream Keeper's Tarot, here I have it. Let's give it just an opening shuffle, just to get it warmed up, to get it ready for what it needs to speak to us about. All right, so just give it a shuffle. I'm wondering if I should start off with an oracle as well. I think I'm going to. Okay, so I am going to put that deck just over there, slightly out of the way. Let's put the next question up. So the next question is, Durban was hit hard with riots and flooding last year. We know that, okay? Will things in Durban and South Africa ever get better? And more importantly, will the ANC ever be voted out? And this is from Eve Casey. So Eve, thank you very much for your question. As somebody who lives in Durban, the riots and the flooding was, oh my gosh, it was crazy. In my neighborhood, we still have some serious damage from the floods. The floods was April of 2022. As recording this now, we're early December 2022, and they haven't even started repairing. Buildings, homes, offices that were completely washed away are lying in rubbles. Complete and utter. It's terrible. So, you know, every day I drive past, twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and it's a constant reminder of the tragedy, of the loss, of the pain and the suffering of what people went through. And, you know, I just keep asking, when are they actually going to start fixing it? Because we can't move forward until the repairs are done. We can't move forward because every day you think you've forgotten about it, you think you've moved on, but then there's some form of reminder. And we can't move away from things until those eyesores are resolved and taken care of. So from this oracle, I want to get one card. So you're saying Durban was hit hard with riots and flooding last year. Will things in Durban and South Africa ever get better? And more importantly, will the ANC be voted out? I'm going to save that part of your question for the tarot. So this is, will things in South Africa and in Durban ever get better? You see, again, didn't I say that there was going to be these themes, that each of these questions, as much as the questions are so different, but didn't I say that we would definitely get some repeated messages coming through? Look forward is exactly what I've been saying all along in most of these, is that in order for us to progress, in order for us to evolve, in order for us to move beyond, we have to look forward. We need to let go of the past. We need to leave the past behind us, and we need to move forward. So I'm going to leave look forward as the answer to the question of, will things in Durban and South Africa, and I'm going to add in the rest of the world, ever get better? And this is Spirit saying, just look forward. Don't look behind you. Don't look at the past. Leave the past where it is, and let's only focus on moving forward. I am now going to do a message around the ANC. So we are going to just not talk about what they do wrong, whether they're right or whether they're wrong, because every one of us are going to have our own opinions. I don't have an opinion because I don't understand politics, but I understand that the ANC are a hot topic. So I'm going to do a reading around the ANC and will the ANC get voted out? Okay. So again, this is not my own personal opinion because I don't have one. This is just, I'm going to read the cards in answer to your question of, will the ANC ever get voted out? All right. And I do feel as if it's going to be an interesting one. So cards are shuffled. I have cut the deck, placing them there, and I am going to start off with 3 cards even before I see what they are. Okay, and the camera suddenly goes dark. These cards are dark. We have got, for those of you who want to know the specifics, we've got the 4 of Swords, we've got the 10 of Cups, and we've got the 3 of Cups. I am going to tell you that right off the bat, the answer is, will the ANC ever be voted out? Yes, but it's going to take some time. Okay, straightforward. That's the initial answer I get. Yes, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to be something that's going to happen immediately. It's not going to be something that we can look forward to happening now, because right now there is almost like everybody's holding their breath. Okay, like, and I'm not just talking about us people who live in the country. I'm talking on a political level. Everybody's holding their breath, like everybody's waiting for something to happen, but nobody's doing anything. So, and I know there's a lot of stuff that's happening. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but there is this kind of feeling of when, what, when, you know, we're all waiting. And I think it's because we've had so much tragedy. We've had so much drama. We've had so much upheaval and chaos and disaster and etc., that we're always like, we're waiting for the next one. We're waiting for the next one. And I think all eyes are currently on the ANC, expecting the ANC to be the next big event. And this is Spirit saying, no, nothing's going to happen now. It's going to be still. It's going to be quiet. It's going to, you know, nobody's doing anything. Everybody's talking. There's whispers, but nobody's actually initiating, instigating, or doing anything. So we have to wait a little bit, all right? We need to just be calm. We need to just wait. But I also think this is just a waiting game. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There is no changing it. There's no deviating from it. There's no slowing it down. There's none of that. It's going to happen the way that it's going to happen. So the 4 of Swords is just saying patience, okay? It'll happen when it needs to happen in the right time. But then we've got the 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is about happy family. So the question is, will the ANC ever be voted out? 10 of Cups for me is a yes, is because South Africa as a whole, South Africa as a family, South Africa as a community, we're going to come together. We're going to rally together and start saying, you know what, I don't care what your political party stands for. I don't care what you promise us. What are you actually capable of doing? We need to rally together. We need to stand together as a collective, as a family dynamic, and say, I'm tired of all the lies. I'm tired of all the empty promises. I'm tired of whatever. And as I said in one of the answers to one of the previous questions is, we need to like take our political parties and like really rattle the cages. I want to say crumble every single one of them and re-establish political parties, because all our political parties are still focusing on past. They're still focusing on yesteryear. They're still focusing on things that are not relevant to us anymore. You must understand that the youth of today are, their needs, wants, and desires are so radically different from the people who are running the political parties. You know, the people. So somebody who is 20 years old today versus somebody who is 40 years old versus somebody who is 60 years old, they have lived three incredibly different lives. And we have to focus on the younger generation. We need to focus on giving them the foundations that they need so that they can take this country out of revolution and into a state of evolution. Okay? And the only way that we're going to do that is if we shift everything. We also then finish off with the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is the answer, is the card of celebration. It's the card of coming together with our friends and our family, celebrating success, celebrating something positive, celebrating something amazing. So I do think, will the ANC be voted out? Yes, but it's not yet. Okay, it's not going to happen yet, but it will happen in the future. But only once we come together as a unit, as we come together as a family, as we come together as a dynamic community of South Africans, and then there will be much celebration. And you know what? Everybody will be happier once we have done that. It's got nothing to do with the ANC, but it's got to do with us as individuals coming together for the common goal, for the same outlook, for the same love of our beautiful country. I'm having the urge to look at the card that is underneath the deck. So sometimes it's called the shadow card, and it often talks about the thing that is hiding under the shadows, the thing that is not all that obvious, and the thing that is waiting to come out. So obviously I haven't seen what it is. Let's turn it over and see what we have. We've got the Five of Cups. Okay, so I'm going to stick it over there like that. Let me get that deck out of the way because I am done with that one now. So Five of Cups is the card of disappointment. Five of Cups is the card of, you know, things just going wrong and just expecting the worst. And again, I think that this is the mindset that we're all in. We're all in this mindset of expecting the worst. We're all in this mindset of, you know, oh, what can we do? And, you know, they have more power than we have, or we have and we don't have, and they do have and they don't have. And we're so busy focusing on pointing fingers at everybody else that we actually don't get to the actual root cause. And the Five of Cups for me here is basically saying, again, let go of what's gone wrong in the past. Let go of all the issues that have happened previously. We can't base our future on measuring past disappointments, okay? It's about understanding that right now, let's level the playing fields. Let's push the reset button and let's move forward, leaving. I love this. I mean, I just love this. Let's move forward, leaving the past behind. Let's re-establish new understandings, new foundations, new basis, new everything. And let's realize that the past is done. It's finished. Let's put that full stop so that we can all move forward. All right. So thank you so much for your question, Casey. I hope I have answered and given you, I called you Casey, Eve. I do apologize, darling. I hope I have answered and given you all the clarity that you needed and that everybody else. Very interesting question indeed. And I look forward to seeing what comes through in that context. Right. So I have given the cards a reset shuffle. Let's leave them over there and let's put this one back in the deck into a random spot, and we'll give the cards just a shuffle to reset. And I think I have one more question. Gosh, this is a long video. Right, so I have one more question left, and again it has some similar kind of context, some similar kind of energy about it, but it falls under the same category, so I thought I would include it anyway. And this question comes from Kavitha. So Kavitha says, there is so much uncertainty, chaos, pain and suffering in South Africa and in the world presently. So many are feeling overwhelmed, and that was the key word for me as to why I chose your question, is that word of overwhelmed, because I get it. In all my consults with all my clients, there is definitely this feeling of absolute and utter overwhelm. So your question, is South Africa headed for doom and gloom next year, or will we have a better 2023? And how will it be better for us? So Kavitha, thank you very much for your question, my darling. It's the overwhelm, as I said, that I want to focus on, because the overwhelm for me is really what is causing the pain, the suffering, the uncertainty, the chaos. We're all feeling so overwhelmed because we're in this period of in between the chaos and in between the future, and we're so uncertain. We're so feeling, as I said, overwhelmed around the whole thing. Like, is it actually going to be okay? So I'm going to use your final question as a way of getting us out of the doom and gloom conversations of our readings today and look at the positives. And actually, I'm shuffling this deck like crazy, but I want to go back to my other one because I want a slightly more positive, a slightly more upbeat, a slightly more optimistic deck. Okay, so CS Tarot, my dear friend Conrad is the creator of this masterpiece. Conrad, thank you so much for creating this beauty for me. I am ever so grateful. Right, let's have a look. So, with all the uncertainty, chaos, and pain in South Africa and in the rest of the world presently, with all the overwhelm that there is, are we, and I'm saying we now, I am referring to a collective, are we headed for doom and gloom next year, or will we have a better 2023? And how will it be better for us all? How will it be better for us all? Okay. Right. Shuffled, cut, let's place. Shuffled, cut, let's place. I'm going to draw some cards. Look at that. We've got the same cards coming through again. I'm going to place a whole lot of cards because we're going to end off on a big note. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so let's have a look and see exactly what we've got. So the first card we've got here is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups, as I mentioned earlier on when it came up, it's about walking away from the past. It is about realizing and acknowledging that what's happened in the past is left in the past. It is to stay in the past. It doesn't mean we condone the behavior. It doesn't mean that we have to be okay with the behavior or the situation or the circumstance, but it's about making the conscious choice to not carry it with you into the future. So it's about leaving the past in the past. We then have the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles is about holding on to your stuff, okay? We need to learn how to not hold on to our stuff. We need to learn to let go of our grudges. We need to learn to let go of our disappointments, of our fears, of our, etc. All of those things that we have that are causing us, to be uncomfortable, to be unhappy, to be whatever. We need to learn to let go of our grudges, to let go of our chaos and the drama. We need to leave it all in the past. We then have the card of Judgment, and this is, to me, hitting the nail on the head, because as human beings, this is the thing we fear most: judgment. We fear what other people think about us. Everything that we do, okay, I'm going to change that. 90% of the things that we do on a daily basis, we get too caught up here about, oh my gosh, what are they going to think? What are the neighbors going to think? What is my boss going to think? What is my partner going to think? What will my children think? What will my mother think? We get so caught up in this whole concept of what will other people think about us doing whatever it is that we need to do. And that is what stops us from moving forward. We need to learn to stand, as the people are doing here, to stand in your nakedness, in your truth, in your full truth, warts and all. And I'm not encouraging anybody to take the clothes off in public, okay? What I'm encouraging you to do is to stop caring about other people's expectations, to stop caring about other people's judgment, to stop caring about other people's opinions. And this is on a personal level, this is on a country level, and this is on a global level. We need to all start focusing, because we're so good at pointing fingers at everybody else. Oh, but they haven't done that, or they have done that, or, but they said, or we need to stop that, and we need to start saying, I am in a good place. I am doing good. I am love. I am happy. I am content. I am living my truth. And when we start focusing internally and we can let go of all of this, I can assure you we will have a much better future, not only for us individually, but for us in South Africa and for the entire world. We have the Sun card. Oh, my camera is tired now. It doesn't like recording for long periods, and then the lighting goes crazy. So bear with. Hopefully it'll see us through. I need new equipment. Soon. So the Sun card is the card of happiness. It's the card of joy. It's the card of abundance. It's the card of success. It's also the card of opportunity, okay? So we need to be focusing on those things and not on everything else. And yes, this is Spirit acknowledging with our next card here, the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is saying to us, we're tired, we're exhausted, the burdens are big, the burdens are heavy, we're carrying it, and we're all feeling drained and exhausted and etc. But we need to honestly and truly start realizing that we are so close to victory. We are so close to moving out of, we're so close to moving away from all of those negative things of our past, but we need to let them go. If you keep carrying those burdens, it just gets heavier and heavier. You know how they say if you hold a can, one can of food, you can hold that can quite comfortably for 5 minutes, but if you hold that same can for 5 hours, it eventually gets heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier until you have to let it go. So let's let it go. Let's focus on happiness. Let's focus on togetherness. Let's focus on celebrating that which we do have, which is wonderful and amazing. And let's let our burdens go. Let's leave them and not worry about what other people have to say. This last card that I have here for us is the Seven of Swords. Now, traditionally, the Seven of Swords is the card of thievery and theft and all of those bad things, but I don't see it that way. To me, Seven of Swords is the card of saying there are opportunities, and in order to take advantage of the opportunities, some planning is required, because if you don't plan and you grab the opportunities, your chance of failure, your chance of getting caught becomes that much bigger. But if you take a minute to strategize, to plan, to actually know what's relevant, what you will do, what you won't do, what your boundaries are, what your expectations are, what your capabilities are. If you put your focus there, you're going to have much more success. I am now grabbing my Sacred Destiny Oracle, and let's just give it a bit of a shuffle, because Sacred Destiny hasn't worked today, and I do love to finish off on Sacred Destiny, because Sacred Destiny, I mean, come on, let's just talk about its name, Sacred Destiny. And this is what you and I are experiencing, friends, Sacred Destiny. I have been talking for over an hour, and if you're still here, oh my gosh, you might have done this in batches and stages, you might have come back a few times, but if you've come here to the end of this, thank you for being with me, thank you for your love and support, and I hope you've found value and truth in this. Sacred destiny is what life is all about, isn't it? That's what you and I are striving for. It's what we're hoping to achieve as human beings, having these human experiences. We just want sacred destiny. Right, apparently this is our card. Let's turn that over and see. You know what, friends? I say this over and over again. I cannot make this up. You saw me shuffle. You saw me choose the card. I did not pause the video. Happiness came out. Let's focus on happiness, because actually sacred destiny equals happiness. Let's focus on happiness. Let's leave this in the past. Let's leave it there. So Kavitha, thank you for this question. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of finishing off this incredibly long and powerful reading, telling everybody to focus on happiness, because happiness, love are the only things that matter. Nothing else matters. Other people's judgments and other people's things and what happened in the past should not define our present or our future. Let's re-establish baselines. Let's re-establish foundations, and let's move forward with all the love and the happiness that we can, because that's what matters the most. But strategize. Have a plan. Let's not just be on this revolution. Let's be on the process of evolution by focusing on what truly matters. Much love and many blessings. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for the questions. And if you have an interesting question that I haven't covered, that you would like to be added to my list, please do comment below with it. Inbox it to me, contact me in whichever way you can. Let me have your questions. I'm always looking forward to doing these kind of readings for you. Lots of love and blessings, my friends. Take care of yourself, and until we connect again, take care.